So my name is Manmeet Singh. I'm CFO and CIO of EMURGO. EMURGO is the commercial and venture arm of Cardano. So we build products and services on top of Cardano. We invest in early stage startups and more mature businesses that leverage blockchain technology, drive value to our Cardano ecosystem. And we also have an education business, training software engineers across Asia right now on blockchain technologies and so on and so forth. So I got introduced to Zachary through a common friend. We had a couple of chats, so I knew him. And the same common friend also introduced me to Raha. And I guess somewhere between the two of them, I got this invitation to come here. So my session today was a panel discussion on global digital currencies. Can there be a global digital currency? I think it went really, it was quite exciting. It was a very lively discussion at the very least. Of the four panelists, I think we had an even split of 2 and 2 in terms of what blockchain technology can bring in the purview of global digital currencies and how it could or could not disrupt the existing systems. But one could clearly see a very strong divide between those who come from the existing industry and their perspectives and those who are part of this new revolutionary technology. All right, so first time here to the AIM Summit. Quite interesting. Now, quite interesting for me from a different perspective. Most of the times that we have or I attend these conferences, a lot of them are already blockchain focused conferences. They have folks from the blockchain industry, so everyone is very savvy and knowledgeable of it. Here, especially in the first day yesterday, I think a lot of the participants come from traditional alternative investment sector. So folks from traditional hedge funds, private equity firms, et cetera, family offices, whatever have you. And it was quite interesting, to listen to them and speak to them and listen to day one when they're talking about the more traditional alternative investment industry and those perspectives and topics that are brought out there versus today where there's a heavy focus on blockchain and so on, and to watch how everybody's reacting. I mean, I've had several discussions post our panel with folks who manage very large funds come up to me and say, okay, wait, I've got a few questions. Why is this not something, or why is this something? And it's generated that discussion. And in that discussion, in those chats that I've had, some are starting to get a sense of what we've been advocating this entire time. And we've set up full-on calls. We've set up calls with their team, et cetera. We've discussed a couple of opportunities already, which is really quite exciting because part of our job right now in this industry is to increase advocacy. Not everybody is going to understand, not everybody's going to agree, not everybody's going to accept, that's totally fine, but at least they should know enough so that they can take a position, whatever that position is. And this, it was very interesting for me to be able to have that opportunity to speak with people from the traditional financial services industry on blockchain, what it can do. I think I need to come to Dubai a lot more often to be able to have a more nuanced perspective. But one thing that we do know and we hear about sitting in Singapore, as well as we read various articles and meet other people, is that in the UAE especially, you have this very strong push in terms of adoption of blockchain. And that's really important because for most of us in the industry, it's more about blockchain as a technology that provides certain solutions, certain benefits, et cetera, as opposed to, say, cryptocurrencies, which is a speculative aspect of a single use of that technology. And here in the UAE, as I understand, I'm learning more and more about it, there's a heavy emphasis and focus on adopting the technology to provide a whole lot of benefits, especially in government services, healthcare, land registry, credentials, e-sovereign ID, et cetera, et cetera. So that to me is really heartening to see that a global jurisdiction, a global financial center like the UAE is taking a strong leadership role in adoption of the technology, which is fantastic for us globally. I would say in general, in Asia, there's a much deeper understanding and play when it comes to blockchain and fintech. It's a much larger market. It's got a lot of diversity across the continent. It has, two of the largest economies, and by population has China and India in it. You have the entire Southeast Asia region, which itself has massive economies inside it, very unique, very distinct. You have Japan, you have Korea. So, in my part of the world, which is Asia, there's just a lot more currently vibrancy and energy and acceptance of this disruption that blockchain brings, or that fintech brings. In many ways, I would argue that there's a much faster and higher adoption of these new technologies, both at government, enterprise, entrepreneurial, academia levels than I've seen in other regions. Having said that, UAE seems to be very much in line with what I see in Asia, which is super heartening for me.